I have a question now from I have a question now from Raj. How do you recognize when a client's own beliefs are preventing them from getting better? Ooh. Well, this is not that unusual. You think about it, the client's own beliefs are preventing them from getting better. Our clients, bless them, of course, they're naturally going to try and find an answer to why they have their problem. Because they don't know how, because otherwise they'd just do it, they go to the next question, why? Believing that knowing why will teach them how. But of course, that doesn't make sense. Knowing why doesn't mean you automatically know how to get better. Sometimes knowing why can make you feel worse. Okay. But if they don't know why, if they can't find a reason that is genuine why they've got their problem, they will create one. It'll be, it must be this, it must be that, it must be this. Oh, it's my mother's fault because she used to say that to me all the time. Okay. Oh, it's because of my partner, because my partner always looks at me in that certain way every time I come home from work. Okay. Or it's in my family, it's hereditary, it's genetic, it runs in my family. Okay. Or it's her fault because she doesn't phone me when she says she will, and I know that means she doesn't want me anymore. Interpretations, right? I'm big boned. So I'm overweight because I'm big boned. Can you see how all of these beliefs get in the way? You're big boned, so you come to see me for weight loss, and you're sitting down and saying you're big boned. What do you want me to do? Get my hacksaw out? I mean, come on. Or you come in and say it's genetic. My phobia is genetic. My father had the same phobia. I've got that phobia, and now my son's getting the phobia. It's genetic. No, it's not. It's been taught. It's been learned when you were a child, and your child is learning it from you. Okay. But you don't actually confront them with that. But I'm just saying, if somebody has a firm belief it's genetic, it's like a huge roadblock they're putting in the way and saying, fix me. But by the way, it's genetic. Okay. You see how that is going to prevent you being able to work when they have that firm fixed belief. So the way to work with people who have fixed beliefs, and that's preventing them, of course, moving forward because they're really focused on that belief. The way to do that is to first of all identify the belief. What is it? What kind of interpretation? How do they interpret it? Oh, I saw a play on TV the other night, and that girl who's depressed, she acts exactly the same as me. Well, you must be depressed then. Come on, you understand? We choose the easiest route to explain why we have our problem. And it can be compounded. Yeah, and so I was talking to my friend, and she said that she thought I was depressed too. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to join a special Wednesday evening get together where everyone there is depressed. So we're going to go there and talk about how we're depressed. So I thought, yeah, go and learn to do it properly. It's crazy, isn't it? But this is reality. This is true. This is what happens. Okay. Or you buy a self-help book which tells you why you've got your problem. No. So when they come in with that, if that's firmly fixed, you can't work. You've got to reframe it. You've got to change the way they think and feel about themselves to get that belief out of the way. Now, you're lucky if you're an Ericksonian because you're doing weird stuff. You're not doing the same stuff that all the other hypnotherapists are doing, reading scripts or whatever they're doing. You're taking what the client gives you as a unique opportunity to work minute by minute with the raw materials they're sharing and utilizing that and turning it around and giving it back. So you're in a good position to work with these observations they've made, futile, silly interpretations they've made. And of course, what you have to do then is look at a way of breaking through that. And I noticed another question here a bit further down, which asks how you do that. So I'm going to go into that now. Here it is. It's from Rob. A question here from Rob. How do you negotiate with a client who has unhelpful beliefs regarding the cause of their problems? He hit the nail on the head. How do you negotiate? Well, you have to kind of negotiate with the client's firmly held interpretation. So the important thing is you've got to cast doubt on it. How do you cast doubt without being offensive? You don't just fall off your chair laughing, when they say it. You've got to be gentle, unless you're Frank Farrelly, a provocative therapist, in which case he would just fall off the chair laughing. But anyway, let's come back to this. Okay, so how do you cast doubt? Well, think about it. How would you cast doubt on somebody? Imagine you've got a conspiracy theorist coming in and they're telling you ABC or whatever, and you don't want to offend them, but you've got to cast doubt. And you could say, oh, that's very, very interesting, very, very interesting. I suppose the jury's kind of out on that at the moment. Or in other words, yeah, you could be right. You could be right. We don't know, do we? We really don't know yet fully. We don't know. We need all more information. So you're gently casting doubt on it. If it's something a bit more forceful, you can say, well, I've got other clients who believe that. They don't believe that anymore, having had therapy. So you can be a little bit more forceful if they are forceful in terms of sticking to their interpretation. Or you might even think, well, actually, a lot of normal people do the same thing, and they would never consider it to be a problem, whatever. They've had that kind of background and never had that kind of response. So you might be right, maybe wrong. We don't know. Why don't we just put it to one side for the moment and keep on exploring? So you're having an open, like an experiment. Let's do an experiment. Let's put it to one side and see how far we can get, looking at it from different angles. So you're casting doubt on this roadblock that the client has given you right there in front of you. Once you're casting doubt, they open up a little, hopefully a lot more than a little, and you start playing. And because ideally what you want to do is get to the point where the client has an aha moment, either consciously or in trance or after, where they suddenly become aware of how that belief, in fact, has been making the problem worse, even not only preventing them getting better, but maybe making the problem worse. And they see the real reason why they've got their problem, and it's something really silly, and it often is something silly, and they go, oh my goodness, why didn't I think of that? If you get that moment, wow, they're like putty in your hand, as they say. You can shape them into anything because they're now totally on your side, having first come in with a fixed way of thinking. Okay, so casting doubt is how you do that. Okay.